Today's 2-minute fairy tale is a spooky story from Lebanon in which the worst crime is being cheap. This is called 7 Cauldrons Bubbling. A poor woman is selling her yarn in the market, and a rich man comes up to her and he's like, I don't need yarn, but I'm lonely and I want a wife. I've heard you got 3 daughters, I want one. Seeing the man is rich and can give her daughters a better life, she says yes. He takes the oldest daughter, marries her, takes her home. When they get there, though, the girl sees that the maidservant stood on the doorstone like Death's sister, her face yellow as sulfur and her voice hollow as a well. The husband has the maidservant bring them 3 chickpeas, and he places one in front of each of them, and he's like, that's what we're eating. I'm giving you 3 of these a day, 1 for breakfast, 1 for lunch, and 1 for dinner. On the 7th day, she's like, it's time for me to go to my bath. So he gives her a penny and says, give this to the owner of the bath, but bring back my change. When she gives the penny to the owner and says, my husband wants change, she says, a curse on you and on him. Miserable penny, and she takes the girl's clothes and the money, and she has to go home naked in shame. She weeps, tells her husband what happened, and then he takes her down to the cellar, hung her up by her feet until she died. He goes back to the mother and he's like, hey, my wife wants her sister to visit her. And so he sends her, and the exact same thing happens with the second sister. The third sister must know what's up because she prepares all these meat and vegetables and hides them in her sack. When he tells her you're just getting 3 chickpeas a day, she says, why such extravagance? I only need 1. And then she and the maidservant secretly gorge on all the food she brought. The husband adored her response to the chickpeas, and then in the 7th day when it's time for her bath and her food's running out, she says, oh, I only need half a penny, and he's like, oh, you are the light of my life. When she goes to the bath, she begs for some tar from a passerby, sticks it on the end of a stick, sticks it in her husband's cellar, and sticks gold to it and pulls it back out. So she's got all the money she needs, buys more secret food. One day the dude's friends are like, you never invite us over to your house, and he's like, yeah, I'll invite you over, but he's too cheap to buy any food. So he buys 1 small bird from a boy and tells his wife, make a feast out of this. He leaves, she goes to the market with all the money she stole, buys all this food, makes a huge feast. He comes home, demands, where'd all this food come from? The Cauldrons answer, 7 cauldrons bubbling, 7 stew pots brimming, is it all with the flesh off 1 little starling? This magic chant strikes him dumb. He can't speak, but he keeps pointing in anger at the pots. His anger pressed violently on his soul, squeezed it till his heart burst, and he died. So the guests and the girl and the maidservant sat down and ate, and therefore everything was hers from then on, and she lived in richness and splendor with the maidservant the rest of her life. Very satisfying ending. As always, check out my book, Dust Spells, and my podcast. All the links are in the bio.